I've gone up against a lot of competitors on this channel, but I've never gone up against a female black belt. Until today. I went to one of the biggest gyms, got my ass whooped in the first round, and I need redemption. Unfortunately, it wasn't that easy. Let's see how it went.
As we get into this match, right away I get a -1 point. I pull a guard and I'm wearing a gi. Those are 2 war crimes committed and the round just started. Then to top it all off, she's hitting me with some outside passing, forcing me to go to turtle, not once, but twice. I didn't realize she was going to come at me like a single mom that just discovered Tinder, but I appreciate the aggression. Then she drives me down to the mat, but I can't have my back flat, so I start to work up and I use a cross collar grip so I can work out towards the front head and pull her into my wrestling. The first thing you need to do here is hand fight, but the second best option is to try and back out if you can get to your legs. Because she's standing up, I have to pull her back down, so I shove her into the guillotine and then I can use this to sweep her over. Standardly, I like to go to mount, but she's keeping my leg trapped, so I'm in 3/4 mount and the guillotine's gonna be tougher from here, and then she turns to her side, shoving me into half guard. But what's this little treasure I found? She's reaching across my stomach when I have my shoulder on her chest. When you're on top and you're dominating them with pressure in this position, I start to push her knee down, so she defends with her hand, giving me an easy grip over her wrist, and I can start to lock up the Kamar. Now, a big benefit to Yeski, if you're in a Kamar, you can grab their pants, giving you a nice grip, or you can hang onto somebody's belt. So when you do have the Kamar, you want to make sure to pull up instead of pushing it down to the mat. If I constantly go for the crank, it's not going to work as their hands are strong in that position. I want to pull the opposite way of their fingers. But just because they're holding on to their pajamas for dear life doesn't mean I can't advance my position as well. As I'm ripping out this Kamar, I don't have to just constantly be attacking the submission, I can start to work past the guard. I have my heel in a rather peculiar position, and I'm trying to inch my way out by turning it to the side and threatening the submission at the same time. But with my second foot, I can push against her leg, free myself and come out to side control, then I can head on over to top north-south control. Now I've said it before and I'll say it again, nobody wants to be here, so it's a great spot to force them to move, because you have your nuts in their face. Well, guess what, but that golden rule still applies, and especially in this role. So as she turtles, I'm going to have to switch my attack into a different one. I still want to try and go for the Kamar, but I'm going to have to bring my leg over the shoulder. This gives me the added benefit of being able to switch off into the armbar as we continue to spin. But seeing as I'm all about that control, when I fall towards the head, I don't want to lose my top position instead. So I bail on the armbar, and I do this so I can maintain top mount, which is a dominant position, and I can just set up another attack. But I didn't expect this counter from her to go into the next group, forcing me to be the bigger man, and we reset. I happily take the bomb position so I can rework my way to mount and improve my jiu-jitsu in the process. I Jedi mind tricked her into taking off her belt so she loses one grip if I Kamar her again, and she goes right back to the outside passing, again throwing me to the front head. It's a good thing I have really strong guillotine defense from understanding the guillotine from my course, which is currently having its Christmas sale with code Santa, and you too can get it to become a guillotine master. But guess what, I know more than one submission. As she pushes me down, I elevate her hips, and a submission I really love to do is the knee bar. I rotate out to the side, catch her in a quick knee bar, and get the tap. She comes at me again, and I've already realized she really likes outside passing. So how am I going to address this? Well, I'm just going to let her. Because as she goes for an outside pass, I know exactly where her head's going to be, and I can use this to sit up towards front head. But I'm going to try and go for 2 new submissions in one video. While it definitely looks like I have a guillotine locked up and everything seems to be going pretty swimmingly, I actually switched it up by going into an anaconda choke. Now perhaps if I actually did a bicep curl for once in my life, I could finish this. Instead I just stick to squatting and use my massive leg strength to get on top, but if I cut this angle, then guess what? This T-bag guard is not going to help me finish this choke, so while I have everything locked up, I'm not getting the submission anytime soon. From this point, I'm trying to jump to take the back, but she quickly puts her shoulders to the mat. A good counter, however, it's really easy for me to pass from here because she's already doing half my job for me. But what did I forget? We're wearing the gi, she grabs my sleeves and she hits me with a dummy sweep. It was a good way to put me on my ass, but guess what? Nothing's free in this world. As she went for the sweep, I was able to lock up her feet. I'm looking towards a bolt cutter submission without reaping, but as she kicks away, she completely destroys her own guard. So I step around it and I grab onto her shin while taking turtle. Now I can do a little bit of ragdolling because I control the shin so easily, and then I can step right past the guard and collect an arm. Knowing that I'm definitely bigger than her and I'm a guy, I'm not going to try and crush her with my weight, I'm just going to float with my knee instead. I like that she's constantly spinning with me. As I look into the Kamar, she again goes to turtle. A lot of people just end up giving me submissions once I put any weight on them, but she did a great job of trying to defend against it. I did throw her into a guillotine here right at the end, but we ran out of time and we can see that she's a legit black belt. And the first female black belt on the channel.